in this soliloquy. So I really want you to look at them and figure it out. But what's interesting is this gives us a sense of where Hamlet is. After he's finished with this soliloquy, he's interrupted by Horatio and Marcellus. And they reveal to him, hey, we just saw your dad's ghost. Shakespeare sets this up perfectly. Because that's kind of a scary thing. Is Hamlet going to be too afraid to follow the ghost? How do we know he won't, Megan? He's pissed. What else? Is he afraid to die? No, he's not afraid to die. And that's the most important thing. He's like, who cares? If I can go out and follow that ghost and he kills me, then I'm dead at least. That was his goal in the beginning of the soliloquy. So Shakespeare sets this up so it makes sense that Hamlet follows the ghost. All right, let's shift now to Act 1, Scene 3. And this is what Shakespeare does. He gives us all this heavy stuff, death and grieving, and now he jumps to another family. And he gives us what is sort of a comical beginning. So Laertes is getting ready to leave for Paris, and he is imparting some, goodbyes to his sister, but he's also giving her some advice. And this is really important. So, let's see, who are my people? Laertes, Arthur, and Ophelia, and Nicky. Laertes.
My necessaries are embarked farewell, and sister, as the winds gave benefit and convoy is resistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet and the trifling of his favor, holded a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of kindly nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
All right, so he's worried about his little sister. What's he worried about? He doesn't like the fact that she might be getting herself into a relationship with Hamlet. So he argues in that line, he says, this thing with Hamlet, it is forward, not permanent. It might be sweet, but it's not lasting. It's just a perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more. So this is not something that's going to last. So he's implying, get out of it. So Ophelia, go ahead and read your line.
No more but so.
All right. Now, as Laertes reads this, he presents that argument in the classical style. So if you're writing a classical argument like you did with Heart of Darkness, you had an argument, and then what did you have to do to support it? What did you come up with? What are the parts? You have evidence. So you have to provide evidence that supports your argument. So the argument Laertes is making is this is not a healthy relationship and it's going to be sweet, not lasting. This is going to be just in a minute. It'll be over. So how is he going to prove that? What else do you have to have for an argument? A rebuttal, a counterclaim, a concession. You're going to look for that. And what should it end with? Call to action. So your call to action is, okay, now what do I do about it? He's going to tell her that too. So as Laertes reads this speech, I want you to identify what's the evidence, what's the rebuttal or the concession, and what is the call to action. All right, go for it, Laertes.
Think it no more, for nature crescent does not grow alone, enthused and bold, but as this temple waxes, the inward service of the mind and soul grows wide withal. Perhaps he loves you now, and now no soil nor collar both besmirch the virtue of his will, but you must fear his greatness, wait, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, part for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and the health of the whole state, and therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body, whereof he is the heed. Then, if he says he loves you, it fits his wisdom so far to believe it, as he in his particular act and place may give his same deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark was recalled. and weigh what loss your honor may sustain, if with too prudent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. The chariot's maid is prodigal enough, if she unmasks her beauty to the moon, virtue herself escapes not calumnious strokes, the canker gals the infants of the spring, too oft before the buttons be disclosed, and in the morn and liquid dew of youth, contagious blasphemous are most eminent, but be weary then, best safety lies in fear, leaves to itself rebels, though none rescue.
All right, so what is some of the evidence that he gives? What's one piece of evidence?
He won't be able to choose who he marries.
It's not up to him, right? He's a prince. He says his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. This is a member of the royal family. Is Ophelia of the same status? No, she's just a member of court. So he's going to end up getting married off to some princess, or it's going to be some, political marriage. His will is not his own. What else? What's another piece of evidence? Anybody find the concession? Where does he concede?
Perhaps he loves me.
Yeah, he might even really love you. So he kind of gives her that little bit of a concession. But then he says it's not going to matter, because even if he does love you, it's not his choice. What else does he suggest? Why is this dangerous for her?
She could lose her reputation.
Her reputation will suffer more than his. Is that true? I mean, he is a member of the royal family. He can do whatever he wants. She would be kind of soiled forever. And he says it to her in a way that's kind of subtle, but not so subtle. He says, if you weigh what loss your honor may sustain, think about the danger this is to your reputation. If with too credent ear you list his songs, if you pay too much attention to his words of love, or if you lose your heart, or if your chaste treasure opens to his unmastered importunity, fear it. What is her chaste treasure?
Virginity.
Her virginity. If you open that box to his unmastered importunity, you will suffer. So yes, it's her virginity. It also, there's some sexual imagery there. Don't open your chaste treasure to his unmastered importunity. Don't lose your virginity to him. Then he says, in another way, the canker galls the infants of the spring too oft before their buttons be disclosed. What is an infant of the spring?
Like a flower.
A flower that hasn't opened. So you're going to see how bad my artwork is. But here's a little rose. So if it's an infant of the spring, what does the bud look like? Is it big and beautiful? No, it's unopened. So it's just that little bud that hasn't opened yet. So here's little Ophelia in this metaphor. What is a canker? Get your footnotes.
Cankerworm.
It's a worm. So here comes our canker worm. If you let that canker worm into your bud, you will never blossom. It kills the flower. This is a parasite that will kill the bud. So she has the potential to be this beautiful blossoming rose. But if she lets the canker in, she will perish. So he's doing it metaphorically. He's kind of doing this in euphemism, right? He doesn't want to say, don't go to bed with Hamlet. Instead, he says, don't give his cankerworm your bud. Tries to keep it kind of on the down low. So she kind of looks at this kind of playfully,